This is Jake Heaps here in the 710 studios. Big win versus the San Francisco 49ers this last week, setting up a huge matchup this upcoming Monday night versus the Minnesota Vikings. The one thing that stood out to me in the 49ers game was, yes, there were a lot of great plays, a lot of big plays on offense and defense, but more so on offense in terms of when plays broke down, how Seattle was still able to execute and score touchdowns. So let's dive right into it. So first touchdown of the game, it's 3rd and 4. First quarter, 1:59 left to go in the first quarter. Ball is on the 4-yard line. So as we get into what the look is, they went into empty formation. So what the 49ers decide to do is they decide to play Tampa 2 out of this coverage. So they are going to cover the flats here, and these linebackers are going to play hook to curl, but they're going to guard the goal line. Okay, so they're going to be very tight on the goal line and set their feet on the goal line. You got the Mike linebacker who is right in the middle of the field here, a little bit deeper, playing a Tampa 2, and then the safeties have the deep halves here. Okay, so what Seattle is going to do on the snap of the football. All right, now what you've noticed is the defense, San Francisco has dropped an extra defensive lineman. So they actually dropped 8 playing Tampa 2. Okay, trying to guard, again, the goal line, be aggressive on the goal line, not give up anything easy. What Seattle decides to do is they are going to run Ed Dixon in the middle of the field, trying to search and get open the middle of the field. Jaron Brown, just set up right, get your feet two yards inside the goal line and set up and post up for a throw. And then David Moore is going to clear this thing out. And then on the bottom, you're going to have J.D. McKissic run a now slant and Doug Baldwin kind of run a corner route here in the back of the end zone. So this side over here of the bottom of the screen, this is your man side. Okay, the top of the screen is more of your zone side. Okay, so as Russell is looking at this, he knows that he's got zone coverage, so he's looking at this concept right here. And as you can see from the picture that we have here, nothing is open. So what Russell does here in this situation is there's a great pocket that is being set for him. What Russell does, which I think is a great evolution of him, is you see him more, instead of escaping out to his left and his right, he's more manipulating the pocket forward and backwards. And what he does here is he ends up backpedaling to create more space. And as we go to the next picture here, the offensive line, I mean, look at the space that he has. This offensive line did a fantastic job on this play, giving him time, giving him protection to create and buy extra time. And what Jaron Brown did a phenomenal job of was, yes, he posted up, and as soon as he saw Russell Wilson backpedal, he went right into this linebacker to create some more space and whipped right back out. And him and Russell Wilson were on the same page, leading for an easy touchdown for the first touchdown of the game. Now, next play. It's 13-0 Seattle. 3rd and 1, ball on the 1-yard line. Sound familiar? Decide to throw a pass, and this time it works out well for him. So what ends up happening here is you got Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin out here to the left, and you got David Moore over here to the right. David Moore is just simply going to run a go route, a quick fly route down here on the 1-yard line. And then down here with Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin, they are going to run a pick play. They're famous for this. It's one of Doug's best concepts that he runs. He's phenomenal at this route, and Seattle's been very successful with it. So Tyler's going to go to this guy, and he's going to try and set up right here. He doesn't need to get in his way. He just needs him to make a decision, one way or the other. And Doug is going to try and set him up and go underneath Tyler for a wide open touchdown. Now, that's not what happens here. What ends up happening is on the snap of the football, the 49ers do a good job. Obviously, they play Seattle. They played them 2 times a year, and they've seen this play multiple times. So what the corner does is he actually jumps and lunges at Doug Baldwin, kind of catching him by surprise. And what that does is it kind of screws the play up, in all honesty. So Tyler now, as he goes to try and get this pick, Doug is not able to keep the 49er defensive back on his upfield shoulder, So instead, as you see here in this picture, Tyler goes to pick, and Doug actually has to go around behind Tyler, whereas the design of the play is for Doug to come underneath Tyler. Now, there's no panic, no flinch by Doug or Russell, which is huge on this play. Doug keeps working, and Russell trusts him that he's going to get open, and Doug does a phenomenal job working to get open, gets his second touchdown of the year. Again, off a broken play. These weren't perfect design plays that ended up working. These were plays that were extended, guys just continuing to work and being on the same page. And then the final play that we're going to go over is my personal favorite from the game. The Seahawks are up 27-10. It's the beginning of the fourth quarter, first play of the fourth quarter. It's 2nd and 17. Now, in the red zone here, the mentality as a quarterback is touchdown to check down. We want to go for that touchdown, but if it's not there, we're willing to come down to that check down, get that extra completion, get ourselves closer in better situations, better field goal position. So as we're going through this play, San Francisco lines up, and they're going to be in quarters coverage here. Deep quarters across the board, okay, by these defensive backs. They're splitting a fourth of the field. Now, you have the flat defenders. This guy's going to have the flat. He's got all this space out here. This guy's going to have flat to hook to curl, and this guy's going to have hook to curl, okay? So that's what San Francisco's doing on defense. Now, as we go to the offensive play here, they are going to run a pump go. So what they're doing is they're going to have David Moore run a smoke screen. So David Moore is just going to turn just like this right here and look at Russell Wilson. And what Russ is going to do, he's going to turn to him, and he's going to pump. And what that does is he's able to get this flat defender to bite and hesitate, which allows Jaron Brown and Doug Baldwin to get behind him, and you have these spaces here. Now you've got Ed Dixon running a skinny post on the backside, but as you can see, and then eventually Chris Carson is running a check down. But as you can see here on this picture, on this particular play, Russell doesn't have anything open. Doug Baldwin in here, he's in between the safety and the linebacker. There's not a clear space. And then again, this space right here, Richard Sherman is almost baiting Russell to throw that ball. So Russell sees this again. Fantastic job by the offensive line. Clean pocket for Russell to work and create. So what Russell ends up doing, what he does so well, better than almost anybody in the National Football League, is he creates. And he gets outside the pocket. He steps up and flushes out. And what happens here is for the defensive back, their rules, what they're taught is, and as soon as they get in scramble mode, you're not playing zone coverage anymore. You are playing man-to-man coverage, and you are sticking or plastering to the guy next to you. And so what ends up happening here is Richard Sherman goes to plaster Jaron Brown or stick on him and cover him man-to-man, and Jaron Brown feels this, sees Russell, and he runs to this open space here. And he is able to separate from Richard Sherman and catch a nice touchdown pass from Russell Wilson, leading to Russell having a phenomenal day. 4 touchdowns on 11 completions, incredible. And again, for a guy number 25 who's been saying a lot about Russell, gave up a touchdown because Jaron Brown had great feel, a great communication with Russell Wilson, and I guarantee you they've been working on that in practice. So those were the cool things that I saw in this game. Was it wasn't perfect, it wasn't clean, but the mark of a great team is that they have trust and belief, and you've got playmakers to make plays. Again, play callers call the plays. It's up to the players to make them work, and man, did they do that this game against the 49ers. Can't wait for Monday night. Huge game, huge matchup, and I can't wait to be back here next week breaking that game down.